Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast. We've watched it and now we're going to talk about it. Today we are covering TWD Dead City Season 3, Episode 2. Catch our reviews at any time, available on most major podcast platforms. Get new and past episodes for free in the app of your choice, including YouTube. I'm your host, Tamara, and I love a good TV show and a good book. If you'd like to reach out to me, you can find me pretty much everywhere at The Recap Pods. And if you're into books, you can also find me at Shelf Addiction. Join me today, show co-host Lisa. Welcome back, Lisa.
Hey, Tamara. Hey, everyone. My name is Lisa Orban. I am an author. I'm also the founder of Indies United Publishing House, and I love all things pop culture. So if you'd like to connect with me online, you can find me pretty much everywhere at Lisa Orban Author or at Indies United Pub.
Before we get started, we would love your participation in this conversation, so please hit us up in the comments section on YouTube or Spotify, or leave us a voicemail using the SpeakPipe link in the show notes. If you are new to the podcast, we are laid back in our review style, right, Lisa?
Absolutely, Tamara. This is a conversation, not a dissertation.
Right. No scene-by-scene breakdowns here. We jump around, and of course, huge spoiler alert for everything, every show in this world through this past Sunday's episode. So if you're cool with that, this is the place for you, and we should just get right to it. Episode 2.
What'd you think?
Overall, I enjoyed it. What about you?
Actually, I liked it. This is I'm gonna be. That's the second episode. I actually liked. I'm shocked.
Yeah. Me too. I'm shocked too. They're definitely doing what we discussed last week. They have rehabbed this show in a big way. It feels different, looks different, sounds different, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay, I only have one complaint, but this is not a complaint just aimed at this one show. It is one that I have that goes across multiple good guy, bad guy shows.
Okay.
And that is, I do not understand. The quote unquote good guys plow through all the little minions and kill them all. But when it comes to the big bad, to the one that has gathered all the minions to do the bad things, then they have the moral crisis. No, can't kill them. That would be wrong. Are you kidding me? Why?
Yeah.
Because honestly, hand to God, I would not have done what Maggie did. I would have shot her as soon as I probably would have let the walker eat her.
That's what I said. Look, when that happened, I said, just let it bite her. Problem done. Just let it bite her. Just be done with it. But
be done with it.
Yeah.
She didn't have to save her from that walker. She could have let nature take its course. It wouldn't have been blood on her hands, so to speak. And then after she was bitten, then they could have killed her out of mercy.
Exactly. That's what I thought. I said, just let the thing do its thing. You don't even have to physically do it. But then when she's talking about it, does she have to die? I'm like, yes, she has to die. Right before Negan's like, yes, she needs to die. What are you talking about?
Because here's the thing. So when they caught Negan and they kept him in jail, for right or wrong, he was younger. The dame is like, 70 years old?
Mm-hmm.
The woman's batshit.
Mm-hmm.
Truly. She really is.
She's not only crazy, she's
manipulative.
Yeah, and she's able to influence weaker minds.
Right.
So why would you want her there? Why would you want, just like I think the other girl said, if we need someone to watch her, then we need somebody to watch them. You can't leave them alone with her because she'll be trying to poison them.
Right. So yeah, that is my one big and again, it's not even just this show that does it. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of shows where they just wipe out like 1,000 people, all the minions, and then they get to the big bad. Then they have a moral crisis. Really, Lloyd? You just killed 1,000 people and you were okay with that, but now you're going to have the issue? The moral crisis? Oh my God, I don't know if I can do this or not. Yes, you can.
I know, but to be fair, like I'm thinking about when they were in that theater, they had to kill them. Those guys, they had weapons and they were outnumbered. So you kind of just react, right? Kill or be killed. So I understood how quickly that happened and those people were dead. She did let the one guy go. She's like, get out of here.
Again, it's it's not that I disagree that they had to kill those guys. They did.
Uh-huh.
But, and they did, and I'll give them this, they did try to give them the out. If you leave now, you can leave now.
Right.
But you could see, I mean, because the Dama's in the wings and she's influencing them.
Yeah.
So right there, like I said, if Maggie didn't want to kill her, all she had to do was just stop.
Yeah.
And let the walker take care of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah, she's kind of weird with her decision making sometimes. I agree. I mean, like I said, I reacted in the exact same way. I'm like, just let the thing bite her. Just let it happen. But she didn't. I don't know. She's weird in that way.
And then, Negan's like, she's like, well, do we have to kill her? Negan's like,
yes.
And
like,
I agree.
Yeah. And actually, it's funny. I was texting my friend. I said, I can't believe I actually agreed with Negan. But immediately I was like, yes, she has to die. Are you stupid? I'm like, you are dumb.
Right. So if she didn't want to get blood on her hands, so to speak, then she could have just let Negan take care of it. And she could have told Herschel, I couldn't stop him. I mean, you and I both know that Negan would have gladly fallen on his sword if she had told Herschel that, she tried to stop him or she didn't get there in time or whatever lies she wanted to say.
Yeah.
To keep her hands even cleaner.
Mm-hmm. It's like she goes 100% in on everything. Either I'm going to be angry and not trust anyone, or I'm going to be Pollyanna and try to save everyone. Like nowhere in the middle. We're just going to go hard left or hard right. And that is not good.
I mean, honestly, she could have even just told Herschel, she bolted out of the building and ran into a walker and it bit her. So we had to kill her.
Yeah.
That would have,
and that would have been the truth.
Right. And it would have completely kept, honestly, everyone's hands clean at that point.
Mm-hmm. But I think they wrote it that way so we could see as the audience that Negan is still classic Negan. He is still in there. He is not a changed person. I feel like when it comes to his character, two things can be true. But as Renata said, I can't quote her exactly, but she's kind of like, he's dangerous. He could be okay if he's on our side. Is he on our side? You know what I mean? Like, you need to watch him because even Maggie, I think she felt that Negan killed her. She's looking at where the knife is. I'm like, she's probably going to figure out that she didn't kill herself. Someone else did it. And she's going to obviously draw the conclusion that it was Negan.
Although, and here's the thing. I have to agree with Negan, though, on this. When he was talking about when he initially was building the Saviors. It's like it didn't start out like it ended.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It started off with a small group of people like you have here. And I was trying to protect them like you're doing here. But then we started adding more people. And order has to be maintained one way or the other.
Well, yeah. And again, she's kind of like Pollyanna about it, but he's logically right. The more people you have, the more problems you have. The more you have to police people, you need judge and jury.
Yeah. And Negan in his community became judge, jury, and executioner.
Which was wrong. He shouldn't have done that.
He probably shouldn't have. But here's the thing. He is right, though. If you have a small group of people, you don't need an enforcer. The more people you have, the more you have to have some kind of enforcement. People in large groups are not naturally good. And it's not even the petty things. But if you start bringing in suddenly a lot of people and you don't know anything about them and you haven't vetted them, you don't know what kind of people they are. They could be good, they could be bad. And if they're bad and they're disrupting the community, then something has to be done. And like Negan said, you need cops or judges. You need the structure? Are you going to have jails?
Yeah.
I mean, they were fretting over keeping one old woman. So if they start bringing in more people, and I do not agree with Maggie on this. She should not have lit up the Statue of Liberty.
No, that was the dumbest thing. I feel like she went from 0 to 100. You're going to grow this thing. It just reminds me of situations where small businesses fail because they had a viral video and then they couldn't keep up with the demand of going viral. They couldn't sell whatever the product was. They couldn't, whatever it is. They crash and burn because they became too big too fast. That was what's going to happen with this community. Like, you can't turn on the Statue of Liberty. That is the biggest draw ever. And like you said, you couldn't even keep this one old woman. What are you going to do with the influx of hundreds of people really fast?
And what are you going to do if one of them's bad?
Or several.
Right. What if you get people that are just, you get another, original Negan? Honestly, what do you do if you get a rabid Rick?
Yeah.
I mean, let's not forget, for during this whole thing, I mean, Rick has not always been a good guy. He has done some shady things at different parts of his life. What if they were to get someone that's like Rick, who, at a bad time? What are they going to do with someone who, kills people or steals food or disrupts the community?
Well, they're just going to have to deal. They're going to get all of that, all of the above. There's no way to just get only good people.
Right. And that's where the problem lies. Because if Maggie can't look down on Negan for keeping order within his community and yet not have some kind of mechanism to keep order in hers, whatever that mechanism is. And she has two choices. She can do it Negan's way. You have the ultimate enforcer, who is a judge, jury, and executioner, who makes sure the order is kept. Or you have the old way, which is cops and judges and lawyers and jails. But all of those things take resources away from surviving.
Yeah, it does. But the decision's been made, and we got a glimpse of the people at the end that have seen the light. I'm sure at first glance they look one way, but it could be a mix of things, right? Not all bad.
Right. I mean, we have no idea. I mean, we know they're survivors, but and let's face it, everyone walks around with weapons at this point. If they don't, they're stupid.
Right. So, yeah.
And you even have the cop guy, the one who's going back to his community. Yeah. Here's the thing. He comes from a community that was organized, that had cops, that had juries, that had essentially lawyers. And look at how bad it was.
Yeah.
Just because you have law enforcement, just because you have jails, just because you have judges, doesn't mean that it's set up for good.
And that's the thing, though. Like, if you want something that is a semblance of the real world, what it was before, that's what it is. It's always going to be, it's never, all good. Never. I don't care how, it's impossible. So you just have to understand, which I think she is really rosy-eyed right now about it. She's got twinkle in her eyes because she's excited about the possibilities. But poor Renata, she's trying to bring her back to Earth. She's trying to kind of stop her from wanting to do this, but she eventually caves and they do what they do. And I don't know. I guess we're going to see. We're going to see what happens.
Bad.
Well, hopefully not. I mean, I think with the assumption they want to go one more season, maybe, I'd like to think that at least a handful of people from this incoming group are going to stick around and be good. And obviously, we still have whoever put out the warrant for them, basically, right? We still have that person. We don't know if they're in this group or not. So they do have a quote unquote bad guy out there for, this group, our new group, to contend with. They just don't know it yet. So I don't know. I
mean, in my opinion, what she should have done is if she had wanted to gather more people, she should have sent out,
Like
kind of like
scouts?
scouts, because they've done that before. They found other groups, they brought them in, and they were bringing in a steady amount of people. But if you send out a scout, you can kind of decide whether the group or not is worth bringing in.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. It's not instant. And I mean, and like Ray Negan said, their group is small enough right now that any force could overtake them. They were not safe. They're secure, or they're safe right now, but they're not secure.
Mm-hmm.
And he is right, because they have a lot of guns, but they don't actually have enough people to use all the guns.
So it's really a catch-22. You can be overtaken because you're too small. You want to get big enough that you can't be overtaken, but you got a whole slew of problems that come with that.
Exactly.
It's really, you just cannot win. It's like you pick your poison.
Yeah. And if I had been her, I wouldn't have lit up the Statue of Liberty. Or they could have even said, they could have sent out runners and said, hey, we're starting a new community. If you go to the Statue of Liberty, you will meet one of our, some of our people, and, and if you pass, you can be let into the city.
Mm-hmm.
So they could have had everyone, they could have had people literally going back to Ellis Island for immigration.
God.
But seriously, they could have. The Statue of Liberty is one of those things, even if you're not from the area, you'll eventually find it. It's big enough.
Sounds like the CRM in their operation.
Right. So you could have just, and they could have had guards patrolling the waterway. So, if they didn't get the whatever signal to let this boat through, they could have just taken them out.
Right.
So, they could have had some kind of mechanism, but they don't have that right now. They just have an open invitation for every idiot to come in, and that's bad.
Yeah. Yeah. And all you have really is Negan and the ex-cop.
And it was kind of interesting to learn more about him, because honestly, I thought he was like a barfly. And I wasn't wrong.
It's Dillard.
But it turns out, he was an undercover cop.
Yeah.
So, we got a cop, we have an enforcer. But I don't know that Maggie will be real happy with either one of them. If it comes right down to it.
I don't think she's going to have a choice, because Negan has it appointed himself, right? Like the way he took care of the Dama, he didn't ask for permission. He just took care of what he felt needed to be taken care of, which could be good or bad, depending on what the situation is. Maybe he may think he needs to take care of something that they don't want him to take care of. It could be bad. I don't know. He's got a little partner in crime now.
Yeah. And he's not technically he will come when called upon, but he does not belong to the group at this point. So he is still remaining an outsider.
Yeah. He has one foot in and one foot out, because why take care of that if that's not your business? I don't live here. I don't need to deal with it. He could have just left it, but he didn't.
And he could have just left. So. And Maggie even asked him, why have you stayed? It surely can't be to be playing video games. And quite honestly, after sticking around with Negan for this long, he might. I could see him just going, yeah, it really is the video games. And I would probably believe him.
Well, I noticed in those scenes with him playing those games, he wasn't so far gone that he didn't have his bet right next to him.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, he's not all the way checked out.
I was kind of wondering if he was sick or something. Because, like when he had the blanket over his head and stuff, because, he had been stabbed.
Yeah. No, he was just looking like a bum.
Yep.
Sitting there playing games, drinking beer, drinking alcohol, eating chicken.
Yeah. It's not, honestly, all things being equal, in the apocalypse, it's really not a terrible life.
No.
I could think worst.
Yeah.
So apparently, Herschel is now going to become a doctor.
Yeah.
And there's this part of me that feels there's kind of some symmetry there because the man that he was named after was a doctor.
True.
So, I kind of like that.
It's in his blood.
Mm-hmm. And if the original Herschel had lived, I'm sure he would have taught the younger Herschel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not mad at it. It did follow through with his character being so inquisitive in the first episode. I'm like, wow, he buddied up to that guy real fast.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that makes sense. And it was interesting, the first scene of him is he's playing around with the walker hand.
Mm-hmm.
He's like pulling on the different
tendons.
Yes, he's so funny. Let's give him the middle finger. Hilarious. But I do like that it was real. I know we speculated last week, what if he's on some BS, but all of that was real, and they're really trying to rehab him, which they've done in 2 episodes. He seems like a good kid. Although he kind of went to Maggie and was like, hey, I kind of want to kill her. I want to kill her. And he's like, what if I have to kill someone? What if I can't do it? Will you teach me? And we didn't hear that answer, but I hope she said yes.
I'm pretty sure she said no.
Well, she's stupid. Because
I know. Because right now she is going for the forgiveness and, turning the other cheek kind of thing. And I'm like, oh, man.
But that tells me she hasn't learned the lesson. She was trying so hard to protect her son. She turned him off. You know what I mean? So even though he's kind of turned over a new leaf himself, but he still has a need to protect himself and protect others. So by telling him no, he's just going to go to Negan and have him teach him.
Yeah. I just want to point out at this point that, let's see, Herschel's probably 16 at this point? I'm pretty sure that if he ran into Judith, she'd kick his butt.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I think the way they raised Judith is the way that you should in an apocalypse like this.
Mm-hmm.
She's not bloodthirsty, but she can protect herself. She knows how to protect herself. She knows how to survive. If she were to get separated from the group, she could survive. And I really don't think Herschel could, which is sad because he had spent more time out in the wilderness. He was completely and utterly dependent on his mother to survive.
Right.
And I think she very much did him wrong with that.
Yeah, I agree.
In all of her need to protect him and keep him alive, giving him the ability to protect, teaching him how to protect himself probably should have been the first lesson in doing that.
Right.
Because Judith has had a little sword and her own gun since she was like, 6?
Right. Yeah. So again, Maggie, she misses the mark. And I wish she wouldn't. And I know they're trying to rehab her as well. But again, they swing the pendulum so far in the opposite direction. It's still kind of stupid.
I mean, you can have mercy, but that doesn't mean you have to be stupid about it either.
Yeah.
You don't have to be blindly merciful, or blindly gullible at that point. There's and right now they're swinging Maggie towards not mercy, but gullible.
Yeah. Because that was, and I can't believe, so even though Renata agreed to open up the community like Maggie wanted, why didn't she draw the line at that silly lighting up the Statue of Liberty? That is so insane.
Yes. It is dumb.
Yeah.
I mean, and like I said, I'm sure that they will get a lot of good people. The odds are, because people aren't inherently evil, but they will do bad things when they are hungry, when they are desperate, when they are cornered. But then again, we've also met groups like the cannibals. I'm sorry. They were not good people.
Right. They were not.
And we have seen a lot of different groups that were just, was it the wolves or whatever that overran Alexandria? Negan's group. The saviors is another example. It's not that, that there aren't some good people out there. There are. But the odds are they're going to run into some really bad people like the governor. You know,
I know. And now I'm actually wondering if like Renata is going to regret teaming up with Maggie because they're supposed to be working together,
yeah.
right?
Hmm.
But it really feels like Maggie's taking over.
Yeah, it does.
That is not good
Mm-mm.
because she's just not great at being a leader like that. I just don't think she's good.
Well, and here's the thing. So, she was talking about, and I did, I had to kind of roll my eyes when she was talking about, turning Central Park into farmland.
Mhm.
And that's exactly what the Dama had said earlier in the episode
Yeah.
about the fact that, Central Park used to be farmland. And it can be again. And that's the first thing Maggie mentioned. We could turn that into farmland. And I mean, and she did come from a farm. She knows how to farm. She's very good at it.
Mhm.
But what they could have done is before they started bringing in more people, they could have started the farm.
Now that's one thing we don't know, but is that we don't know how many people are in Renata's group. We don't know. And that's something the show has been notorious for, is not really letting us see the whole picture. Is it 10? Was it only the people in the room when the Croat came and attacked them? Were they it? Were there more?
And we don't know, has Maggie sent, word to the Bricks? Are they going to show up? We don't know.
Yeah, probably not. It would surprise me if they did.
Yeah. Because honestly, what I thought before they lit up the Statue of Liberty, I thought she was going to start sending out radio messages.
That might have been safer because it's a smaller circle of people that could hear it.
Technically, they, if they have the power, they could power up one of the, the bigger, basically radio stations. And they don't have to tell people that they're in New York. They could say that they're in, I don't
Jersey.
know, Jersey. Yeah. They're in Washington, D.C. New York it's not that far from Washington, D.C. And they could have set up some people there, to meet the groups. But
Yeah,
they
but
could have
that
sent out
takes
a
too
radio
much
broadcast.
planning. This show would not accommodate that much planning for these characters. We know that. They like to jump to it. Yeah. That would take a whole season to make that happen. Just that and that alone. Although, in this episode, they had her wiring up her little light up system real fast. I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, she's very smart. She was able to figure that out.
Yeah.
That was quick.
And apparently they have some engineers because she mentioned that they had engineers.
Probably 8 engineer. How many would they have? They have 1 doctor.
I don't know, because she did say that we could train more engineers.
Yeah.
So I would maybe think that there's 1 or 2. And probably there are probably people that were there at the hospital when everything went bad to begin with.
Yeah.
Or
So
they could have
again,
been
I
part of
wish
they
we
could have been
could
part of that family.
maybe. I just wish we could see the whole of the group we started with. Because again, we don't know.
I'm getting the impression that the people that are in the hospital are all Renata's extended family.
Yeah, it's got that feeling.
Yeah. I don't think that this is a group of strangers. I think this is an extended family, and the doctor they have there, that was his hospital, and that's where everyone converged, and that's where they stayed.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm very much getting the impression that this is an extended family.
So the apartment complex, was that across from the hospital?
I don't know. I was trying to figure that out myself because we know that they have the hospital, and it's possible that it might be like one of the nursing wings.
Yeah, I was wondering if it was in the hospital, but it didn't look like it. Like when she opened the door to let Negan in, it looked like an apartment.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't look like a hospital room.
Yeah, no. I don't know. The buildings are pretty close together.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how big this hospital is either. I don't even know what hospital it is. But they have some that, they're an entire block or more.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows how big this hospital is and who knows what all they have in it.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's going to be an interesting hospital if they end up saying, because I could have sworn Negan said like the dama was downstairs, or they said indicated she was in the basement or something. I'm like, in the basement of the building they're in, or a different building? I was like, not really clear.
Yeah. Well, and there was even where this building is, apparently it's not that far from the theater that, she
No,
was, she inhabited.
yeah, not far at all. I mean, unless again, we're back to that whole, you know, time is a construct. You just take how long we say it takes to get there, even though it may not be close. How they'd be jumping around in this world. Like, how did they get there so fast? That does not make sense.
Well, apparently, because she did say that they were looking for him and they're like, he's not that far from, they aren't that far from you,
Mm-hmm.
meaning the bar. So I'm going to say that this is all fairly clustered together. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll probably be a little bit watered down on the details, to be honest. They're not going to fill in the blanks. They're just going to let us kind of struggle with it.
Mm-hmm. But I am going to say that I don't think they were, because the Dama lived in that for most of last season. She lived in the theater, and that looked like the theater she was in. I could be wrong, but it did look like it.
It could be.
Which means all of her apartment and all of her crap's up there.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm glad that she's finally gone, because last week I'm like, I wish they would have killed her instead.
Mm-hmm.
So at least they be rid of her quick. They're kind of like moving out all the old stuff fast so we can move
Mm-hmm.
on.
Yeah. So we got the Croat and we got her and all the most of the other baddies from the different groups, they're all gone now.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember. Were there any people left from the ones that were living in Central Park?
You know what? I don't think so. I don't think so, but I can't confirm that with 100% certainty, because I don't remember exactly.
It's just kind of sad that, this group had survived there since, the fall, and they
Mhm.
meet Maggie and everything goes tits up.
Well, I mean, that tends to happen.
I know.
Trouble follows her. I'm sure there were a couple stragglers that made it out.
Because, if she wants to farm Central Park, those would be the people that you want to, you know, collect in because they
That's
know the
also
place better than anyone.
dangerous. Central Park is overrun with wildlife.
I know.
Yeah, it seems also very dangerous to be doing.
We know that it had a bear,
Yeah,
but it's gone now. I
yeah.
think it had it. I think we saw a giraffe at one point.
I'm sure there's another one. Doesn't each zoo have like two of everything at least?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one bear, but I'm sure they got some gorillas, some orangutans, some, you know, tigers and lions
Lions,
along with it.
tigers, and bears. Oh my.
My, right.
You know, I mean, it's hard to say. I mean,
Yeah.
I've never been to the zoo in Central Park. I've been to Central Park, but I've never been to the zoo.
Yeah, me either. I don't know what kind of wildlife they have in their zoo.
Yeah.
Never been, but
I don't know how big. I don't even know how big it is.
yeah. I was thinking about how I really couldn't remember a lot of the like granular details about last season. Like, I couldn't even remember what happened to Pearlie at the end of last season.
I couldn't either.
Sitting there looking at him without the mustache. I'm like, oh, it's what's his face? And I'm like, and I'm sitting there trying to remember what the hell happened to him. And I could not remember. I cannot remember.
I know he got beat up several times.
Yeah. It's Pearlie. He's here, but I have no clue how it ended with him last season. I'll say that. Oh well, he was just here for the second episode, here and gone.
I think he'll be back. I have a feeling he'll be back.
Yeah, eventually. Sounds like if she's successful in her endeavors, they'll have a reason to like trade with each other or whatever. All right, I'm trying to think. What else did we get all the things? I feel like we're missing something. Are we?
Not really. I mean, we did have the little speech, where the Bart bartender.
Mm-hmm.
I can talk to the dead. No, you can't.
He's like, stop this madness immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that
then
was kind of weird.
moving them upstairs to his, I moved him upstairs to my bedroom. I'm like, you have an entire apartment complex. You could have moved them into any room.
Mm-hmm.
Why your room? I can't imagine that would help you. But, and I did get kind of a kick out of him up there singing karaoke with them tied to the stripper bar.
Oh my gosh. And Negan's like, the look on his face while he's playing the game, and he's like, oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. There was things going on, but a lot of it was montage.
Mm-hmm.
Them kind of cycling through Negan playing the video games and Maggie getting the hospital and the apartments wired and all that. So a lot of this episode was time montage.
Yeah, kind of to show the passing of time, but we don't really know how much time.
Mm-hmm. Now, I think Negan said something about a couple of months or something.
Mm-hmm.
So they've been there a little while. But yeah, so I think there was a lot going on, but again, most of it was really done in montage. About the big sections was their interactions with the Dama.
Uh-huh.
And then, the question afterwards, well, what do we do? Are we going to keep her? Can we keep her? I mean, that's a lot of wasted resources. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Also,
that was all unnecessary.
I'm also going to say kudos to Negan for his brick throwing.
Yes. And then he finished the last one off with the air conditioner. I'm like, great. Yes. I'm like, well, he was a gym teacher. He better be able to at least throw a brick.
I mean, I'm just saying, when they killed all the people up on stage, they were all headshots.
Yeah.
And I get it because that's what everyone has been training to do because, otherwise they can't kill the dead.
For a long time.
Yeah. But then you got Negan up there with his bricks. Wow. I'm just saying, whop. You need to get over this. Whop. Stop.
They're not pets. Like, stop treating them like pets. What the heck?
Right. These have teeth and fingernails. And,
yeah.
These are not your pets.
Actually, I would expect no less than them to be really good at defending themselves and killing them. And if they aren't this far into the apocalypse, then there's something wrong.
Oh, I get it. But I mean, everyone, has a, off day, I guess, or, not every throw could be perfect. It's just the fact that every single time, whap in there, their heads explode.
Look, that was his anger. He's like, you got me up here because you messing around,
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I'm not saying Negan didn't have a reason to be angry.
Mm-hmm.
He did. But yeah, it was just kind of funny listening to him.
Yeah, I think they're still maintaining that whole balance of being kind of comedy, like with the comic relief a little bit still. So they still managed to work some of that in with all the seriousness going on. So yeah, this kind of does feel like a different show from last season.
Very much.
Yeah.
I mean, this is season 2 or 3 now.
3.
It is 3. Yeah. So it is very different than season 1 or 2.
Yeah.
It's almost like a brand new show.
Yeah, but season 2 was so extraordinarily bad. It was just so bad.
Yes.
To me.
Also, I can, it's not as dark. And I don't mean storyline. I mean, it's not as dark.
Right.
They're out in the sunshine a little bit more. You can see the people. It's really kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
Because last season, it was so dark.
Yeah.
With all the dark, the dark rooms and the dark alleys and the dark corners. Negan's down in the dungeon. It was really kind of hard to see sometimes what was going on. So I am kind of enjoying the fact that, they're a little bit more out in the sunlight now.
Well, yeah, I'm sure it's totally not for the sake of trying to help the audience, but kind of like in design with what's happening in this show. So they're lighter, they're happier. So the scenes are lighter. If they ever go back into a deep depression or back into that set, that place where everything is horrible, I'm sure things will get dark again.
Well, and then they had that scene with when they were looking for the people that were with the Dama, and Maggie they were talking about Negan and, his wife and kid. They're better off without me.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to report that I am better off without them.
Well, look, another loose end tied. They are telling us, the audience, you are not going to see Annie or that kid. Let it go.
Let it go. Yeah. And honestly, I don't know at this point if he really means that he's happier without them, or if it's just a way to put the whole thing to bed.
I think that's what it is. I feel like he obviously thinks the place is dangerous, right? He thinks he's dangerous, which he is.
He is.
And he probably just thinks, I do think he does think they are better without him. Definitely. I don't know if he thinks he's better without them, but definitely one way.
Yeah.
And it's put to bed.
I really think it's they may be better off without him, but he was better with them.
Yeah, for sure.
He was a better person.
I believe that. But that doesn't mean he should get them.
Right. I'm just saying when he was with her, he really was a better, kinder version of himself.
Mm-hmm. Because he's kind of back. He's back.
Yeah. He really was more like he was in the flashbacks when he was with his wife.
Mm-hmm.
His first wife who died of cancer.
Mm-hmm.
He was more that Negan.
Yeah, I could see that.
And then the daughter, the adopted daughter he didn't expect, she kind of kept him in that safe zone, but they're all gone now.
Right.
So, and the close ties he had at one point with Herschel are gone. Herschel's afraid of him.
Yeah, he is a little bit. He's confused by why are you afraid of me kind of thing.
Yep. Because he wasn't before. When he was younger, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't. Mm-hmm. As he's mending him, he's like, so glad to be your first patient here. You can practice on me. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe eventually Herschel won't be afraid of him any longer. And he's just going to be that guy. But I do think every single one of them should have a nice, healthy dose of reasonable fear of him, because he is somebody you got to watch forever. He's not 100% good. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
He's not 100% bad either right now, but he's volatile still.
I'm going to go with everyone needs to have a healthy fear of him.
Mm-hmm.
Not walk in fear of him, but there is really something, there is a, healthy fear of something.
Mm-hmm.
Because he can be that. He can also be good. He's a little unpredictable. He is, more than anything, useful.
I could even imagine Dillard pissing him off or aggravating him so bad that he gets stabbed in the shoulder or something.
But having a healthy fear of someone doesn't mean you're quaking in your boots. It just means that you
watch your back.
You keep an awareness that this is a person who could do things, has potential power over you, could overpower you.
It's like a wild animal that you think has been domesticated. I'm sure they're generally domesticated, but all it takes is one little something. They're trying to scratch your eyeballs out. So,
yeah. Well, and Negan also made the comment. He's like, I'm not as young as I used to be.
Yeah, he isn't. He is not.
He isn't. And that was a fair statement, because Negan's older than Maggie.
Mm-hmm.
And, so I mean, yeah, that's why I said, he might actually just really be enjoying playing the video games, because he's getting older, and I'm sure that he's tired.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying tired. He wouldn't. I'm not saying he wouldn't stir shit. I'm not saying he wouldn't cause problems if he felt the need. But at the same time, I don't think he's really out there looking for problems at this point, because, sitting back, eating chicken and drinking beer and playing video games really isn't that terrible of a life.
Do you think Maggie is going to confront him about killing the Dama, or you think she's just going to let it go? Like, she's noted it? Like, noted? And she just won't bring it up.
I think she's going to slyly pass it by him.
Mm-hmm.
And basically say, I know it was you.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think she's going to make an issue of it either.
Right. Because ultimately she wanted her dead anyway. She just didn't want to do it. She didn't want to be the bad guy. That's what it was.
And she was even trying to justify it with herself by, pointing out, we kept you. We kept you alive.
Not because of her. It was because everyone else. She kept trying to get him killed.
Right. Oh, I know. I mean, them keeping him alive is what split their entire group apart and made her lose her mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was trying to justify keeping the Dama caged and alive. But we could use her. She has knowledge. Well, yeah, but it's all crazy.
I mean, not just that. Like, he literally tells her, like, they have a whole conversation. Like, after you said we did, kept you and talking about being rehabilitated. He's like, not everyone can be rehabilitated. He's like, hey, maybe I'm a special case here.
Yeah. And she's like, you're not.
But I think when it comes to the Dama, he's right.
Yeah.
She would just poison the well.
There's no way I would keep that crazy woman around.
Yeah.
Okay, because here's the thing. Negan does bad, terrible things. Okay, but he does them pragmatically.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If he does some terrible, violent thing to keep people in line, it's because he's trying to keep them in line. When he kills somebody, it's for a reason. It is for a purpose, and that purpose might be terror.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but he does it for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't, and he has never been a person prone to flights of fancy. He's always been a pragmatist.
Right.
And him being in jail, it was pragmatic of him to not be an asshole.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so his change of heart wasn't really so much a change of heart as it was a change of circumstance.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Negan is any different now than he was when he was with the Saviors, but I don't think when he was with the Saviors was any different than when he was with his wife. It's just different circumstances. Negan ultimately is a survivor, and he's very pragmatic about it.
Yes, he's pragmatic, but he is also, for a while there, unnecessarily cruel on top of it.
Yeah.
Now, let's just hope he's not going that far again.
Everyone should enjoy their work, I guess. I don't know. No,
I guess.
They tell you, you should really take joy, take pride and joy in your work. And he really did.
He ran with it.
But here's the thing. The Dama was nuts. And she was rolling on mystique and magic and, manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
You can't rehabilitate a person like that who's living in their own world.
That's the thing. Someone who is mentally unstable, there's nothing you can do with that. Now, without a bunch of medication to bring her out of whatever delusion she was in.
Right. And honestly, there's no point. Even if she was here in a functional society, doesn't mean necessarily that she would, quote unquote, get better. There are many crazy people. Sorry, but there are out there. Either because they don't take their medication, or they're not getting the right kinds of medication, or there's just something wrong with them that medication cannot fix. And so,
or you just died because you cut off my son's toe.
Yeah.
And tried to turn him against me.
Right.
How about that? Period.
The Dama is one that, she doesn't feel regret. She doesn't feel remorse. She doesn't feel bad about the things that she does. And I will give this to Negan. He does have moments of doubts. He has moments where he feels bad for the things that he has done, where he is genuinely apologetic because, well, I might have gone a bit too far there. But the Dama would never do that. Not ever. She's locked up in a cage and she is demanding better treatment, as if she's a queen. Because, that's exactly what she was acting like when she was, I'm not going to eat in this cage. You can't expect me to eat in this cage. They absolutely can.
I
You
can
know,
expect you to eat in this cage or shrivel up and die.
right.
That's what I expect.
I mean, she was, she even there in that cage, she would not get rid of the idea that she was special.
Yeah.
And she wasn't special. She was just nuts.
And I, for one, am so glad we never have to talk about her again. I think you're right. Maybe Maggie will say something to Negan in passing, but this is going to be water under the bridge
Yeah.
because she's nobody and really didn't matter to them in any way, shape, or form. They wanted her dead. So he
And
did her a favor.
he did. And honestly, we already know that come next episode, she's already going to have new problems to deal with. And that's going to be all
Yes.
those people that are seeing the Statue of Liberty lit up. And God, I mean, we know that there's not a ton of humans, but there are enough humans.
Yeah.
And the Eastern Seaboard was a densely populated area, which is bad because that means more walkers, but it also probably means statistically more survivors.
And they actually need all of those walkers with the system they're using for electricity. So they need them.
Mm-hmm.
You need those bodies.
And I mean, we have those groups that we haven't seen in a really long time. That includes, we had the group in Philadelphia, that's pretty much shattered at this point, but there are still remnants of it from the CRM,
Mm-hmm.
And then we know there's the bricks that is not that far, and we have Alexandria and that group all going up and down.
Mm-hmm.
And we have the one city that Alexandria ended up taking over. It's still functional. So, I mean, that's all up and down the Eastern Seaboard. So, there's going to be a ton of people. Information will pass.
Yeah, it's going to take some time. Like, they're not going to be there. I mean, other than this group that is clearly close and on the way.
Right.
But those other people, it's going to take some time.
And it's also going to draw in people that are already there in the city because we know there are other groups inside the city.
Yeah, just hiding out and surviving however they can.
Yeah.
There's probably pockets of them all over the place.
Exactly. Yeah, like the ones that were living in the hill area, that had the zip lines.
Mm-hmm.
And we had the ones that were in Central Park. I'm sure they're scattered all over in little pockets all over the place.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm glad to see what's next. Honestly, I think it's going to keep things exciting, and we'll probably be rolling our eyes a little bit at Maggie.
Yes.
Making dumb choices. But I think it would be worth them getting us to like this group to a point where we connect with them like we did about the original group. I think that is what's missing from all of these like spin-off situations. They have yet to make us care about a group the way we cared about the Walking Dead crew.
Right. Well,
which is part of the problem.
Because even when we had, why can't I remember any of the names of the old shows? Fear the Walking Dead.
Mm-hmm.
There really wasn't. They kept splitting up the core group and scattering them all over the place. So just as you start to get, attached to somebody, no, you don't get this group anymore. We're going to get a different group. We're going to have these people. We're going to have those people. They never really let us settle in with anyone.
And even that show, I feel like you said, they never let us really settle in, but the core group of that show at the beginning, only a few of the characters took hold. No one cared about the other ones really. And the only ones that kind of lasted through it all, obviously Alicia's character, Coleman Domingo's character, and of course they had to add Morgan to that show when things were seeming a little bit sketchy.
Yeah, because the original group, the only one I cared about, which is why I stopped watching it, was a heroin addict. He was the only one I liked. And when they brought Morgan back, I'm like, okay, fine, I'll watch it. And then we watched together.
Mm-hmm.
But Morgan wasn't consistent through it. But, he was with different groups. He was often by himself. He was left alone. He was, everyone was scattered.
And at the end there, that original group ended up fighting. So like Alicia and what was the character's name? Coleman Domingo's character. I can't remember the character's name right now. But they were split in a way that was kind of like, ugh.
And they had been so close.
Yeah.
They would have done anything for each other at one point, and then they didn't. I really didn't. I didn't like how they were doing that. So I'm really hoping they actually give us a community that we can kind of stick with for a while.
Yeah, let them grow on us a little bit.
Yeah.
Before you start killing them off. If nothing else, we know the doctor hopefully will stick around for a while because Herschel still needs to learn. So hopefully he'll stick around and we can get to know him. Obviously, Renata will stick around because she's another leader. At least hopefully they don't try to kill her off too fast.
She's the moral center right now.
Yeah.
That's not a good position in this show.
And I mean, she might have to be a counterbalance too, because like, again, Maggie swings so hard. So while she's trying to be the moral compass, she has to push the brakes a little bit. Like, whoa, slow down. What are you talking about? So she's doing that character's doing double duty.
Yeah. She also has to be the voice of reason.
Yeah. And like, who else? We need to know who else is going to be like more visible in this group. There's got to be a few more.
Well, we're going to have Negan and we're going to have the bartender.
Yeah.
Other than that, they really haven't shown us anyone. Not really.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen them wandering around, but mostly in the
extras. Yeah. Extras.
So,
Well, maybe a couple from this new group. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Okay, I think I'm done with it. What do you think?
I think we're done.
Okay, so this has been a very good talk. Thanks for listening to the entire episode. We appreciate you for doing that. Don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you're listening because we'll be back again next week and you'll want to make sure you get that notification. And also, if you enjoyed the discussion, please leave a 5-star rating wherever you're listening because that would help other TWDU fans find the podcast. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.